Hello parents, Mr. Stemple here, and this is an overview video of what we're going to be doing in class when it comes to the engineering design process. So the engineering design process, you can think of it as sort of the scientific process that I'm sure many of you are aware of and understand. The engineering design process is pretty similar to that, but it involves specific rules that are laid out by PLTW. Now, as I've told the students, there are a lot of different design processes. The one that we're going to use is the one that's laid out by the PLTW website. There's a definition that they have there. I assume you all can read, and you can read that for yourself. But basically, it's a systematic strategy that has specific criteria, and we're going to be going through each step of the process along the way using the PLTW website to build something together as a team. And I'm going to put them on specific teams so that they can work together. So they're going to find the engineering design process on the pltw.org website. This is the one that we're going to use in class. This is the one that's been laid out, and the PLTW curriculum follows this design process. So it's the one we'll use. They're going to use it by finding it on the class website. I'm going to give them step-by-step instructions for what I want them to do. They're going to have to turn in an assignment in Canvas every day. Most of those assignments will be from their notebook. One assignment will involve them taking a picture of something that they built, but they're going to put all those into Canvas. So we're going to start out by having them take some notes from the PLTW website based on the design process. All the information is on the PLTW website. All I'm asking them to do is to read through that website, copy some things down in their notebook. Not the whole thing. I don't want them writing word for word. That doesn't do anybody any good. What I want them to do is read, understand, and then summarize. The next thing I'm going to have them do is build a design brief, which is a way of specifying what problem they're trying to solve. So essentially what I'm going to do is give them a plastic cup, which should be in a take-home kit that I'm working on putting together and making sure that they can pick up at school. It'll be a take-home kit with a plastic cup. And what I've asked them to do is to improve upon that plastic cup in whatever way they want to, right? They can make it so that it's easier to store hot and cold liquids in. They can make it prettier. They can make it so it doesn't tip over. There's a number of improvements that they can do. I want to sort of categorize them in specific ways so that I can find a sufficient team for them to work together on. Once they've decided how they want to improve this plastic cup, they'll write a design brief saying how they want to improve this plastic cup. At that point, I'm going to put them into teams and ask them to go through a decision process using a specific decision matrix where they'll decide which improvements they want to do as a team. They're going to pick whichever improvement is sort of the best or has the most value based on the criteria that they decide. Once they've decided on that, they're going to prototype it and test it. And this is the most fun part. This is where they're going to take turns building something. So, for instance, if myself and Mr. Grimm and Mr. Leslie were on a team, I might go first and build the design of my prototype and present it to the class the next day. That class would look at it and say, that's great, but it would be better if it had wings. So as a team, they'll decide what the next improvement should be. And then Mr. Grimm would take that suggestion, build a similar prototype to the one that I had, build it with wings. And then he would the next day come to school or come to class and present that prototype to his team and show them how it works as sort of a test. And the team would get together and say, okay, that's a great prototype. We like it. The next improvement is that it should be purple. And so then the third person in the team, Mr. Leslie, would take that prototype and build this similar to one that I have with the improvement that Mr. Grimm has already put in place, and then with the third improvement to make it purple. And then he would present that to the class. Once the team is all done, they're going to present their final prototype to the class. And once again, they'll have to turn in, along the way, they'll have to turn in pictures and notes and other things to make sure that they're following the design process. This is not a lesson designed to criticize their work and say, oh, your plastic cup doesn't work, or it doesn't fly, or whatever it's supposed to do. This is really more so that they understand the design process and understand how to work together as a team. So that's what I'm going to be grading them on, is that they've done the notes, that they've worked together as a team, that they've written down the things that I've asked them to write down, that they've done the design brief, and they've done the notes, et cetera, et cetera. So it should be a fun project for them to do. And then if you watch the student videos, you'll see that I'm going through each design process with them. I'm not going to do that here. I'm going to show you a little bit of the website so that you can see that all the instructions are available right there on the web. They should be linking these videos from Canvas. So make sure that they're watching their videos from Canvas so that they can answer any questions that I have put inside the videos on Canvas, so they get credit for doing that. Thanks very much. Okay, so here's the website that I mentioned earlier. This is the my.pltw.org website that your students should have access to. And when they get there, they'll see these blue boxes. This one here says General Student Resources. That's the first place they're going to go to talk about the design process. And then over here on the left side, you'll see Design Process. And this covers all the stuff that goes through the notes. It goes through everything that I want them to write down. Talks about the design brief, the decision matrix, etc. So they can go right down through there. The first lesson is for them to read this and take some notes on it. The second lesson is for them to write the design brief, which it shows right here and allows them to download. The third lesson will be having them build the decision matrix, and then we'll move on to the fourth and possibly fifth lesson where they'll be building their prototypes. They can follow all this stuff as sort of a guide, access all the details that they want right here on the website. And then we'll move over to my website, which you can access through the parent portal. Right here, the engineering design process. Starting on this website, this will have all the tasks that I want the students to do on this lesson. They can review the design process right here. Moving through the pltw.org website, if they're not sure how to access that, gives them specific instructions for that. Also for how to do a design brief and the specific things that I want to have turned in from the design brief. So everything again gets turned in on Canvas. They'll have to turn in specifics for each one of these lessons. There'll be a specific thing that to ask them to turn in on Canvas, and all those details are right here on this website. If you have any questions, as always, give me a call or shoot me an email, and I'll do my best to answer. Thank you.